we go.
Okay, perfect. But yes, so Carolina is here, and I love your background, of course. I'm very much so a fan of Northern Lights. When I grew up in Canada, every night in the summertime, not every night, but a lot of the nights we would have sit in the hot tub or we'd be in the sauna and we'd just stare at the stars and the Northern Lights. And there would always be things in the sky. Like we saw so many interesting zips and things and orbs and very interesting things in the sky. So she's going to be the host for today, and I'm going to give it away to you, Carolina.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for having me here this morning. I actually chose this background, number one, to hide my slightly messy office because I'm still adjusting to having moved house. And I was like, oh, I want to be like all zen this morning for you guys. But also because like the beautiful aurora borealis we can see behind me, we are all experiencing that in real time right now with all the solar flares. So I suppose I decided that I was going to pivot my thinking on this energy because it can actually be really dislocating for our fields and our kids and really everyone when it hits. And I'm going to like pivot it and turn it into something beautiful today, harness all of this scalar energy coming down and like channel it into our healing so that it supercharges us this morning. So that was my very coherent thought in the shower this morning. Anyway, so, but anyone that doesn't know me, I work as an energy healer. It is so cool to be able to say this out loud. I've just completed one of my final certifications in this, and I'm in the process of launching my business now. So it's really exciting to be able to actually fully step forward into this. But it's funny because I'm sure a lot of us, you don't need a piece of paper to be a healer because ultimately all we are ever doing is we're not really healers. We are providing a channel or a frequency that allows people that choose to work with us to heal themselves. But it's really nice to be able to actually step forward and do this like full time now. My business, the Frequency Codex, is, as Kelly mentioned, I have a starseed son as well, and he has gone through just way too much for anyone at his age and life. And I've got to get better at talking about this because it's still like I tear up every time. Like we tried our best and medical science got us so far, and then we hit a wall, and then there were no other options. And then I will always be so grateful that like my intuition at this point was like bashing on the door, going, please just give this a go. And we started working with energy healers, really specifically like biogeometry healers for our home. And then later, I was already doing this energy training, but I'm very honest that if our home hadn't been balanced from a geomancy perspective, I'm not sure my healing would have been as effective for him. But it was a game changer. And not only did it bring his physical body back into calibration, but it also has helped his energetic field stabilize because these star seeds, when they come down, I swear to goodness, they come in and they're not entirely aware that Earth is really quite different wherever it is they're from. They come in with these huge energies and in a world that is not always very open to it, although I'm loving that it's becoming more and more open to it now. And just seeing the incredible success he was able to have with this treatment, it just inspired me to, actually get some formal training in case there were people that decided that was needed, and launch my business so I could help as many other people and just give them an alternative option to all the other good stuff that they do. So I start, yes, I will. I start every session I do with clients by saying, I work in an energetic capacity with your electromagnetic field. We are all electrical beings, but I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. Anything that I do here today is to support whatever you are already doing. And my personal belief is that if we support our etheric and energetic field, as we are primarily electromagnetic beings first and physical beings second, that can only support and take forward what you're already doing with any medical or therapeutic interventions that you're doing in day-to-day life. So I always want to sort of make that clear. I also ask, before we dive in a little bit more about to what I do, is that today I wanted to offer a end of year healing, clearing, balancing, and for anyone interested, activation. Happy to take any questions about what any of that means. But if anyone has any medical issues that they think I should be aware of, especially if anyone has any metal in their body, I would really appreciate if you could put it in the chat. So, and you can message me privately in the chat if it's not something you want to share with everyone. But I just always like to be aware of all these things as I go into it. And a little bit more about what I do specifically. I've always been sort of, I think as a lot of us are, on the more intuitive side without really realizing what that meant. And so the healing modalities that I've practiced, probably without realizing it for a long time, certainly the light language, which is something that has come through really, really strongly for me in the last year, the light language and the light code activation. That the easiest way for me to explain this to people is that it is a soul remembrance language that talks like from my soul to your soul, whatever is needed in a healing capacity. It is spoken field to field, higher self to higher self. So I know there's lots of people that that are very aware of maybe the dialect that they speak, but my background and my family connection is more from a frequency perspective. It turns out it's kind of cool that my family come from it's all sort of intuitive, magical things have always been part of my family's history, even if it's been sort of kept quite quiet for a really long time. And whereas they worked in more traditional areas, for some reason, the area that I work in is all frequency based. So when I work with clients, I'm able to pull the frequencies, to weave the frequencies in to the healing that are going to best support the goals that we're working towards. What I found worked really beautifully for my son was when I'd started training in sacred geometry healing. And I struggled initially with all of this because the old me, as I like to call it, was very left-brained, very logical. My background is in investment banking and finance, so not particularly creative, or I can honestly say I'm not sure I was that open-minded to any of this. I was always, everything was very black or white. And so I really gravitated towards the sacred geometry healing modalities because sacred geometry is something that we see throughout nature. When we look at shells, when we look at the patterns whales make, we see beautiful Fibonacci spirals. When we look at the stars and we're able to zoom in on telescopes, we see 64-star tetrahedrons in the stars. And when I started to look into the science of it, I realized that all of these geometries, going all the way back as far as the ancient Greeks and Pythagoras, they all carried a mathematical frequency. And the universe is entirely built on frequency and vibration and harmonics. And so what I learned when I started to work with these geometries is that each geometry carries a specific frequency and a specific vibration, and they are all keys. And when I start to work with people and they tell me what we're working on, I am able to use the right geometries, the right keys to bring in the right frequencies that are going to best support them in whatever we're working with. And it was this geometry training that really, really helped my son, because we're all experiencing frequencies all of the time. It's all around us, universal energy, whether we can see it or not. We're being bombarded with light, vibration, like literal energies crossing through our paths the whole time, which is why having our home balanced with geometry and biogeometry allowed my son to be able to be at peace in his home. It is not something I actually train in, and I still have to rely on other people to help me with it. But that was the most startling change that we saw for our son when he was not experiencing what they call catastrophic energy in the home. His entire system was able to calm down, and then he was way more open and receptive to more traditional energy healing modalities and to actually any therapeutic intervention, both energetic or medical. So it was quite life-changing for us. And I did an introductory sort of like quantum sort of clearing and balancing a couple of months ago, which I'm pretty sure is still on the portal somewhere, where we just literally talked about how these geometries interact with our bodies. So what I wanted to do today is ask you guys what your intentions would be for the healing today, whether you guys would be open to activation. And really what that means is an activation is just as you go through a clearing and your body's frequencies energetically recalibrate and balance and all of your chakras come into alignment. There is the option with some of the geometries, for example, the flower of life is a really good example. They carry such high frequencies that if someone is open to receive it, they are able to, at the pace of the individual, unlock the dormant DNA that sits within all of us to bring forth our natural gifts that we all have and that Kelly talks about a lot. So be it your clairs, be it anything in that realm, if it is for your highest good, absolutely, you can be open to receive this, and whatever you're meant to receive will come through. The thing that I always really like to be very, very clear about is that as I open the container and I begin the healing, I will be bringing the frequencies to you. No one ever does anything to you. It just doesn't work that way. I ask that anyone that listens to this this recording either live or at a later date makes the energetic commitment that they are open to receive. And really, it's my higher self talking to your higher self, and there is nothing that would happen that is not for your highest good or for the highest good of all. So, because people are always like, oh, well, what am I opening myself up to here? And it's just, the universe operates within really beautiful parameters that I literally provide the frequency. If your higher self is open to receive it, it will meet and it will happen. If there's bits of you that are like, I'm really not sure what I think about this, I'm open to receive things on a really, at a pace that my body and my brain is able to deal with, that is what will happen. Because it is literally frequency to frequency. And it's only when we're in perfect resonance that you will receive sort of the full amount that I'll put out there, but there is no right or wrong amount. It is whatever you are open and ready to work with today. So, and I just would love to do this as like a little introduction, see how people enjoy this. And yes, if anyone's got any questions, I am going to stop talking now and open to hear anything anyone might have to ask. And if nobody has any questions, that is good too. But please unmute yourself if you do.
There's some questions that were inside the chat. So
yes, I'm just taking a look here.
So for myself, one is the type of cleaning thing that you had happen to your home. I would love to get a link or some more and like a full name of it so I can search in my area. And then the other one was for the actual was there a class that you took for the sacred geometry as well? And if so,
yes, there is.
That was the questions.
Absolutely. So yes, I will provide the link to the lady I worked with. She combines a really old school form of, I have no affiliation with her. She's become, I swear, like my guardian angel, but I don't work with her in any official capacity. Her name is Edith Wu. She works out of New York. Everything is done remotely. And she combines biogeometry, which is a very, very established, well-known protocol, mainly taught by people like Professor Robert Gilbert and Dr. Ibrahim Karim. Those practitioners may well be available in your area. Edith overlays that with Chinese feng shui and astrology as well. And because I lived in China for a very, very long time, I naturally gravitated towards that. But the biogeometry itself is really what balances the energies in the home. She just puts her beautiful spin on it, but I will send links to both of those at the end so you can explore it. And yes, Tracy, I did do my training through authentic living.
I did too.
Oh, you did?
I
So,
did, yes.
so I've just completed GO2,
I-
and then I'm just about, have you done GO2 as well?
Yes, yes,
Oh, well,
yeah.
then you will be completely aware of what I'm going to be doing then. And yeah, I'm just waiting to start GO3 next year. So, yes, so there is that. Yes, 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 and yes. And if anyone has any specific questions on the geometries afterwards, I'm always happy to sort of elaborate on that.
I do
But
have a
really,
question. I'm so sorry. You
you-
mentioned to give your body permission to accept the energies. Now, if someone that's interesting, right? Because humans can energetically block the energy if we don't set the intention to accept those frequencies, correct? And if that's the case with sacred geometry, this could be the case with Reiki or other energetic healing.
Mhm.
That's interesting. That's very good to know. Even with the Egyptian cylinders, ask it permission to cleanse your body and accept the frequencies.
It's like, I just, I think I sort of like to try and make that point because I did come from a very left brain. I need to know the why. How does this happen? Like, that's why when people say, so this is going to be a remote healing, how does this work? Well, sure, there's the geometry explanation that I use, a very specific one, which is a key in a way, and it allows me to access you. But there is evidence that, I mean, they've won sort of Nobel Prizes for in physics, which is, it sounds a weird way to describe it, but the way I look at it is that through creating this beautiful container and us all coming together and giving permission to be open to receive, we are creating quantum entanglement bonds. And it is through that and non-locality that I'm able to access all of you, because ultimately we are all connected. We are all one. I am me, you are you, we are we. And when we look at that, in whether it's through the spiritual lens or through the physics lens, it says kind of the same thing. And so it's really, I wanted to sort of bring that to people's attention, because understandably, when we're working with any new modality, we want to be sure, is this for my highest good? Is this going to help me out? And so to realize we have so much autonomy, so much sovereignty in this space to go, I want to receive the healing at 110%. Great, you set that parameter for yourself. But if you're like, I have had the week from weeks, I would like to receive the healing in full, but I would like to have no purging and minimal lag time. I want this to be beautiful, easy as possible, and for me to feel just great. You can do that too. We just need to give ourselves permission. So, with that in mind, I always set the intention myself that my intention for the container, and if anyone has any intentions, specific ones they would like to put in, please pop them in the chat, is going to be that 2024 has probably been quite the year for all of us as we bring the year to a close. I invite everyone to consider the possibility that all of the challenges we may have experienced during this year are actually a beautiful map. And when we look at our challenges as a map and a key, they actually give us awesome guide points for the next steps. And if we can surrender into those next steps, we're going to be entering in 2025 open and really aware of the lessons we've learned, seeing that the map is, when problems come up or we have roadblocks in our life, we can choose to be very, very human about it and be very upset about it, or we can choose to see it as a guide and a key and a lesson that we need to learn that's going to pivot us to a fantastic new direction that would never have happened had we not gone through that. So I'd love, with all of the turmoil that really this year has certainly been building up to until quite recently, just to bring perspective and balance for everyone, and just to balance everyone's energetic fields and their chakras, so that as they go into the end of this year, we're in alignment we are at peace, and we are open to receive all of the incredible things that are just waiting for us if we can be open to see things from a new perspective in 2025. But if anyone has anything medical or anything specific, please put it in the chat and I can bring it into the container and I can work on those individually for people as well. And okay, so the way it will work is that I'm going to mute out. We've got some quite big internet issues here, so I'm not going to risk messing this up for everyone by having like my Spotify be like ooh and juddery during this, because I'm really grateful that I set the intention. Please make me at least just get through this bit without it like freezing and stuff today. So I'm going to ask that you guys go and find a relaxing place. Try and just get yourself comfortable. You can be lying, you can be standing if you have to, you can be seated. I do just ask that you're not driving or trying to do anything that requires operating of machinery at this time. I will mute out, and if you want to play any relaxing music, thank you very much. I'm seeing some of the comments come in now. I will absolutely include all of those. Get yourself comfortable, put some music on. And what I'll do is I'm going to mute and turn off my video, because what I'm doing over here, you don't need to be seeing it to be receiving it. And then as I start to draw the healing to a close, for those that are open to do so, I will open up my microphone and I'll be doing light language throughout to complement the sacred geometry that I am using, but I will be bringing forward a transmission for the group specifically at the end. And so I'll turn my microphone on for that.
Hey, Mom. I'm
If
doing this
anyone is
thing,
not
like
open to receive that, I would just ask
this
that they
thing
keep their
I
audio
that
on.
Carolina, do you want to mute them?
Yes.
So you click on the participants and then you can mute everyone. So
Here we go. I will do that. Perfect. So, but yes, if any of you would not like to hear the light language at the end, that is absolutely fine. You will still receive everything that you need from the frequencies that will be coming through the container. But you can just keep your audio off and you can receive it that way. So I just want to give as much flexibility to everyone as possible. And it will probably take about 20 minutes to half an hour. And then I will gently bring everyone back with my voice. And then if there are any shares, we can go through them at that time. But I would just ask you to relax, get yourself into a light meditative state, and we will begin. And I will see you in a short while.
Carolina, are we all supposed to be, are you supposed to be muted?
I am, yeah, because the healing itself is done quietly, which is why I was suggesting maybe people could play sort of meditation music if they wanted to. And
Okay.
then I will come back on at the end in the final part, because this part is not guided meditation. It is
Okay.
the actual healing protocol. And then I'll come back on and do a final transmission at the end.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. But if you guys just get relaxed, I will get back As I move into the light language, final transmission, the primary healing is now complete. And I bring forward this message for everyone to receive at the level which is perfect for them, aligned with their higher self, for their highest good only. Hina haro kuna chinki ki karo ona ala sakana taro so ala sura kana chinini aro so kana nanana. Hiran chikaro no no lana karo toso no no no. Tu sono no no ikana oro sokona nana chikata. Ala kura tisi kana ola nana kuna nanana. Ora sala chikaro no 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 ala kiki karo. Ina rosa nana la la roka tata sala. Shira unkana okana na roka a oso. Osakara chikata ira nanana ora kana chikaro. Hilano okana aratatata ara o asola nanana. Shira no 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 shira nanano. Inalara konara ara sokanana totosolana. Hira no no nana ara kara o ki ira sanana ora sanana. Ilana chikana alana koratatanana. Olana chikana ara aro akokuk ana ishakana. Ishakana ara usokana ala sukasara ani inana. Ina ukana alana uka orsatana. Orsala, 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 karo sananana. Ila kora ana kukuk ana. Ara kushikana alala tatisi. Tisakara ora ana ora kana chikana lala. Lala kora tasisi kara. Ina ora ala siti titi ora kina na rokana na 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 ala ora satatala aro satatanana ora kananana ora nanana o a ora isikanana shitana rotalana isinaro ala chichikaro ina rokanana orsala orkani orsala orsala kana sonatata. As above, so below, as within, so without, and so it is. There can be no other way. The healing is now complete. I thank you all for your participation in this beautiful, beautiful event today. And I invite you to slowly bring yourselves back to this reality, to this plane, to this time. Gently start to feel into your body, starting at your feet, as you are now beautifully grounded with all the essences of Gaia, feeling up your calves to your knees, your thighs, bringing your awareness to your hips, your stomach, your chest, your breath as your body is moving in and out, as you bring yourself back, your shoulders, your neck, your face, the top of your head, feeling your connection from the center of the earth, right back up to Source, Creator, God, whatever you feel called to subscribe to, knowing that you are in beautiful, perfect balance, you are in alignment, you are complete, you are whole, you are you. I thank you. if I could ask you all to unmute yourselves, because I'm having a technological moment where I'm pressing the button, but I can't see the unmute you all button. So if anyone wouldn't mind unmuting themselves as and when they're ready.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. It was such a privilege. Thank you so much. How's everyone feeling?
Feel
I'm
good.
feeling great. I'm feeling very calm and at peace, almost as if I just did a very, very long meditation, like an hour-long meditation.
Oh, good.
Me too.
Yeah, I want to bring in a lot of peace and calm and just like that feeling that you're all sort of wrapped up, you're secure, everything's good. My dog now wants to come in. He's like, I want some of this energy. Let me just let him in. Please. Come in. There we go. Sorry. Okay. Oh, sometimes these things are really interesting, even though I'm really far away doing this. A lot of people, you may have felt vibrations. You may have felt like a buzzing or a tingling. You may have felt heaviness in certain parts of your body. You may have felt light and floaty. You may have felt nothing. There is no right or wrong way to receive it. You receive it exactly the way it was meant for you to receive it. So, but if anyone's got any questions, please shout out.
You have an odd one, and I don't know why this just came to me the way it did, but I was born I was born more of a spiritual person than a religious person, even though I was raised in like a religious doctorate type of thing. I had like a lot of gifts already at birth, and I did a lot of things that were not of the norm for the normal child, without a doubt, and anyway, when I was really young, I went to like Baptist churches, which speaking in tongues was like not in Baptist churches. It's more in a different area of religion there. And then we moved into more of those type of churches, like Assemblies of God and stuff like that. And I never really felt like I was really part of what they were, but yet I was doing something like speaking in tongues, but it wasn't necessarily in the same realm or how they were going about doing theirs, if that made any sense. And so it really just came to me that I'm curious if what I was doing was actually more of a light language than a speaking in tongues. And I really don't know how to decipher that, but that just came to me.
I get that question a lot. And I've been in churches where people have done that as well. And I think it's a very individual thing. I'm not entirely sure like how the churches seem to have different views depending on which one you go to, but you're channeling, I believe you're channeling a version of the Holy Spirit when you do that, and you're getting beautiful messages. Well, the way I choose to see spirituality is that there is God in all of us.
Exactly.
We are God,
I'm asking,
and God is us. And so if you call it a soul language transmission, if you want to call it your personal connection to who you believe in, be it God, source, higher power, like you can look at it that way as well. And I know what you mean. Like, I do a lot of activations in light language. People often just start talking it after hearing me talk it, which is super cool. I sort of like, it's such a gift that it's a gift that's meant to be shared because we all have the ability to do it. And if it's for our highest good in this lifetime to do it, we will remember. So part of my activation protocol was the gift of remembrance, but remembrance as to whatever you need to bring forward that will help you in this moment. Like, because there is no right or wrong. And you may well find that, people start hearing stuff coming through for themselves. And if that happens, or if you wish to reconnect with it and see, I always invite people to explore whatever feels good for them to do, because it suddenly came through for me out of seemingly nowhere. I don't think it necessarily was nowhere when I was a kid. Kids have their own languages. And my son was completely nonverbal until he was 6. He spoke his own language that only more recently I'm like, whoa, was he actually speaking light language? And I'd never even heard of it when he was 6 years old. He's like just turned 13. It was like not even on my radar. So I don't know. I try not to put any labels with stuff. But yeah, that could well be exactly what you were, especially as you were, like you said, you were so naturally sort of spiritually open and gifted. I think that's a beautiful way to look at it. And just to know
My whole concept of the religion and stuff to begin with is completely different now than what was so pushed into me. And
Right.
I'm really more of like even believing that and knowing that this is really how things were to begin with. It's like this is just this man-made thing that got thrown on me that I didn't really have much option because of, you know, how I was being raised. But then I have another question for you too. So of the like when you're speaking and you're doing the light language, do you know specifically what that necessarily means, or is it just literally the higher self?
I've got to know what it means now. Like when it first came through, I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? And I went and worked with lots of teachers so I could try and figure it out. But they all said the same thing. They're like, some people wake up and they come in and they're like, I've just remembered I'm from Sirius and this is what I'm speaking. And they have that complete clarity.
Oh, wow.
I didn't. And so when I sought the teachers, they were like, this is like a soul imprint remembrance for you. And so you're speaking a frequency of the dimension that you have the strongest imprints on, which still makes me laugh out loud when I say it, because it's like, they're like, well, this is like very 12th dimensional. I'm like, what are we talking about, people? This is insane. But they're like, it's like a root language. So it's they told me to think about it like Latin. Like Latin is the root of a lot of, you know, European type languages, English included. And so I was like, okay, then. So I will come right there, Kelly. And then what I do now is I think about the intention of what I want to communicate and it just flows. And with people that I practice with that speak it too and that understand it as well, exactly the words that I'm saying, because everyone comes in with different gifts with it. Like I can understand the meaning, but I've got friends I work with who literally can tell me exactly what I said. And it completely trips me out because it is exactly the intention that I put behind what I wanted to transmit. So I'm like, it's like so cool. So, so yeah, so it's very intention based. And I'd be curious if anyone sort of picked up any thoughts on what it meant to them, and like, we'll see. But Kelly.
Yeah, so I have a question. Can light language come more in the form of melodic? So instead of words being spoken, can it come more in like a singing melodic and then what sounds to be gibberish? Only
Oh my,
because
well, I'm not sure anyone that listened to me would necessarily be able to give it a direct translation. So yes, absolutely. In
only
fact,
because I feel,
a
and
lot
it
of people.
happens when I'm completely, I would say, in the alpha brainwave state, and I don't even realize what's coming out of my mouth. It's when I'm very uplifted, elevated, happy. And it's almost as if I'm like, do I have ADHD? Am I like, I'm acting like a child because I'm just doing interesting gibberish and being goofy, and it comes out sometimes in a song or a melodic.
Absolutely. In fact, one of my favorite teachers, that's exactly how it came through for her, JJ Brighton, and she creates the most beautiful sound pieces with it. It is 100% tied to song because the frequency and the harmonics are like key to how all frequency moves. It's kind of like frequency, vibration, and harmonics, and song or sound encompasses all of that. So for a lot of people, that's exactly how it comes through. Wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what you were doing.
That's interesting. So next time it happens, I'm going to have to kind of snap out of it and focus and set the intention to understand what it could mean. But it's always when I'm happy. It's never when I'm upset. It's when I'm hyper excited, goofing around with him. Like it just, I'm driving and I'm doing something. I'm like, what did I just say? What did I just do?
I just like, I mean, I definitely tried to like left brain it for a while to try and figure out, sorry, my dog.
That's okay. No problem.
He's just like so high maintenance, but he's so cute. He gets away with it. I would just go with it because I drove myself nuts for a while trying to understand it. And then, especially when I do it for Josh, like it has been the thing that has helped Josh, my son, arguably more sometimes than the geometry when he's having a really tough time because it cuts through everything and like I call it like the ultimate pattern interrupt. So yeah, but I don't think it just comes out. And I guess it's coming out for you exactly as you need it in that minute to maybe optimize that bit of your meditation if that's what you're in. And I mean, hey, listen, if you like, you are very powerful. I'm sure you could tune in and figure it out. Let me know if you do. But I like, or do it the other way around, maybe go into it with the intention and then see if that mirrors how you're feeling.
Okay. So I would love to know, like you said, I would love to know what others felt when they were accepting the healing. And for me personally, I felt immense uplifting peace and positivity and a new, like a new timeline, a positive timeline. So I would like to know, before you mention what the intention was, I'd like to know what other people's felt clairsentiently to see if it kind of aligns with what your intentions were. So if anyone would like to share what you felt.
Tracy, please, if you could possibly unmute yourself. I'm so sorry. Like, this is my electronics. It's like
Yeah.
making it not work.
So I usually tend to get like overthinking, not overthinking, but like, in this process, today, honestly, I usually have like a notebook and paper, like, and pen and jot things down. And today I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like 100%. I'm sitting outside. I'm just gonna absorb everything around me and absorb whatever you were giving. And I'm just like, usually I'm like trying to keep I didn't even put the music on. I just am like sat here and just like allowed to receive. And it just felt very nice and very beautiful. And it's funny that you ended up doing the light language, because when you were talking in the beginning, you did something like with your hand. And I was like, oh, I bet she does light language, because I've had someone else in the class.
Oh, she's muted.
Can you unmute again?
You
unmute
muted
again,
yourself, Tracy. You swipe it to the left and then you click the bottom of your screen and it should unmute you. You'll see the mute button.
I'm trying to see there's like a mute all, but not an unmute all.
Yeah, that's
Interesting.
perfect.
That's okay. Did
Well, try
Michelle,
again,
did you want to
actually,
go
'cause
first?
now I think I've clicked a button which says everyone can unmute. So
Okay. I was gonna say, Michelle, did you want to go first? And then once Tracy is able to
When she can
unmute
figure it
herself.
out, sure, that's cool. So I didn't really want to take extra time to look through my electronics to try to turn on some kind of music or something, because I figured that was going to distract where my thought processes were and where I was, because I was already setting myself up. So I just did some light chanting, some chanting, and I know that typically can cause some vibration in your body, but this was like next level of that. It wasn't just a little bit, it was like way up here difference, like all the way through my toes versus just from my mouth down. It actually came the other way and then went back. So it was like a full body movement of it. And it wasn't just the vibration, it was like the flow of the vibration. It was full energy flow with it. Almost like it was on like a cycle moving, like where like a I don't know how to explain this, almost like a gerbil or something on the wheel, but not on a wheel. It was like the wheel was going through my body like that, like down the back, up the front, down the back, up the front. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, it does. That I was actually using a lot of spirals that's part of how I do several bits of the healing, actually, is to bring that movement in. And so yeah, that is so, I love that when people can feel what I'm doing and you're on the other side of the country. It's like the nerdy side of me. It's like, oh, this is quantum physics in action. This is
Absolutely.
so cool. So I just love it that you were able to get that experience. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, a lot of
Yes,
tingles and movement.
you felt it right. I did do that. So
Yeah, a lot of tingles and a lot of movement from it for sure. I mean, it was definitely next. I mean, I realized I vibrate a little bit from doing some chanting, but not like that.
Does
like it's oh gosh, it's everyone feels it differently, but my interpretation of that is that your body was just very open to receive this. And so I'm really delighted that you were able to feel it, because for a lot of people that helps it feel more real to them. I mean, you already work in the energy space anyway, I remember. And so you're sort of used to this already, but it's always really nice when you're able to really experience it as well. So I'm like super happy for that.
Yeah, and
So
I'm studying quantum touch right now too. So I'm running energy and stuff like that on a regular basis. So I think that probably only
cool.
intensified it.
That
I
is
was
amazing. I love
going
that.
to mention I do have to leave in like just a few minutes. But I wanted to say Tracy mentioned something in the group chat that she's not able to, that says that.
I just made you host again, Kelly. I'm hoping you might have less electrical interference on your end,
Okay.
that you could hopefully, because I've been trying to unmute everyone and it's just not behaving from my end.
That's okay. Let me see if I can do that. Ask to unmute. It only says I can ask her to unmute. And then in the meantime, oh, she unmuted.
It worked. I think that worked.
Okay.
Good luck. Okay. Sorry,
All right.
Tracy, we cut you off earlier. I know you had to go too,
Oh,
Kelly.
that's okay. I just was, it was amazing. It was good. It felt really nice. So I just sat and allowed to receive and just stayed open and just looked at this, I like kept my eyes open. Usually I close my eyes and try to like think maybe too much in my head about what's happening. And today I just let it flow and it was really beautiful. So
Awesome.
thank
And
you.
then Ray, did you have something to say? I see that you unblocked
Yeah,
yourself.
definitely. So, no, I want to say, thank you both for, having this and hosting this. It was really awesome. So, like when I was there, just like receiving, it was so awesome because, I totally got into that higher vibration. And while I was doing it, just there in the moment, I was kind of like talking to myself in my head as well, like just accepting everything through like all my chakras, all the light. I was, connecting to with like my higher self, asking my higher self to even be open. That was awesome, and try to like connect with my higher self as well. And yeah, no, it was really awesome. I really enjoyed it too. Also, what I was doing is I was like kind of like forgiving people in my past lives, in my current life, and as well like forgiving myself in my past life and current life. So like it was a really awesome thing. I loved it. So thank you.
You are so welcome. And I just can't quite, I mean, I can believe this. I've got to stop saying I can't quite believe this, but I actually did a timeline reset for everyone. I did let's sort of clearing out energies across all space and time. There was a lot of forgiveness that came through. And so that is absolutely beautiful. And of course, always a lot of light, but it's so beautiful you were able to pick up on those specifics, because that was a really important part of this, of just being able to pivot and with the look at our future through a new lens, is by clearing the stuck energy and the old stories that don't serve us from the past that we were projecting through to the present and to the future, and just resetting it so we're just in this beautiful alignment of love, forgiveness, acceptance, and excitement for what is to come. So
I love that so much. Wow, you guys, that was amazing. It was so
thank you so
beautiful.
much, everyone. It was a real privilege to be able to work with you guys today. I get so much out of it from my end too. So thank you very much.
And it was beautiful timing for me and hopefully for everyone else. Like I feel like I needed this reset. We've been going through a lot energetically, like you mentioned, and I just feel instantly more grounded, more happy, more positive, and excited for my future. So you are amazing. Thank you so much.
I
I
love you guys. Thank you.
will share this in the spiritual community, and so others can benefit from this healing as well. And also send me all your information, because I'm going to share you in my socials so people can work with you. And if you guys want to work with her, please reach out. And can you just explain the healing that you offer for not just as a group, as a collective, but also individuals?
Yeah, of course. I typically will work one-to-one or in groups. And if I'm working on a one-to-one basis with someone, I do everything remotely because it works, and it just means I can reach more people this way. And it will be primarily focused on, what you are looking to work on in your life at this time. And then we will work through the right modality to balance your chakras, bring in geometries, bring in light language. I do a lot of intuitive channeling too. So, it very much depends whatever you need. I'm able to tailor it for that. And yeah, I'm just getting going with this. So it's sort of bear with me while my technology is catching up behind me. But I'll send you all the details. And Kelly, also I have like a post-healing like regimen, if you like, that I share with people about, you know, just making sure you take enough rest, drink lots of water after this. If you have an ability to have something salty, that will further ground this energy in, and just some tips and tricks that I've put down. So I'll send that to you, Kelly, and then you can post it in the portal, and then everyone's got it, and they can reach out to me if anyone's got any specific questions.
Perfect. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And everyone, you know, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Have an amazing Thanksgiving. I know that Thanksgiving is coming up in a couple days. I'm so excited. We're going to St. Augustine, Florida. We're going to see all the Christmas lights. It's going to be magical. So I hope you guys do something magical as well. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. See you guys later.
Bye.